Hey folks, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. Today we're going to discuss the descendant in astrology, and I'm going to sort of share with you a few interpretive guidelines for approaching and working with the descendant. And of course, as usual, it's based on my own personal experiences and my experiences working with clients in my own client practice. So I don't think that we really unpack the descendant enough in astrology. It's something that we sort of nominally reference, but we don't really sort of unpack it so that we have a strong sense of, well, what is this about? What is this angle really about? And what can I sort of learn from it in terms of my own wiring and the wiring of people who I interact with? So the descendant can represent disowned qualities in ourselves that we may actually judge other people for having, not recognizing that we ourselves are expressing the psychological needs of the sign on our descendant. So we don't recognize that we are expressing the traits of the sign on our descendant. So for example, someone with a Leo descendant, Leo on the descendant, we may actually judge or disapprove of vanity and attention-seeking kind of Leonian traits in others, but we may actually ourselves have unrecognized needs for admiration and for recognition. So keep this in mind, the 3Ds for the descendant: disown, denial, and disapprove. So we disown the qualities. We are in denial about the fact that we may have these traits or qualities in ourselves, and we also may disapprove of others and judge others for having those things. So disown, disapprove, and denial. That's a nice, easy kind of shorthand way of remembering it. So by the way, I should have mentioned in the beginning that I did a video on the ascendant. So what I'm going to do is to link it in the box below, as well as at the end of the video and also on the screen itself. So if you want to go check that out in terms of unpacking the ascendant, then for sure go and do that. Go check that video out. But in the meantime, the descendant represents the qualities that sort of become activated when we are in relationship with another person. Yeah, so if it's Leo on the descendant, then we get to sort of express Leo qualities in the context of a relationship. So intimate relationships may bring out the warm and appreciative side of us. Someone stimulates us to sort of express these qualities. So the sign energy on the descendant, the qualities represented by the sign on the descendant, are activated by us being in relationship with others. They kind of come online, as it were, when we interact with others. Yeah, so someone gives us a chance to express these Leo qualities. So we give the qualities that are associated with the sign on our descendant. We kind of give it to others, but in this way too, we also seek the qualities of the sign energy on our descendant. We seek to receive these qualities in relationships. So Leo on the descendant, for example, wants to give warmth and appreciation to another, but it also wants to receive positive attention and admiration. So I've noticed time and time again that in relationships, our partners may have a strong enough imprint in their chart of the sign qualities of our descendant. So again, Leo. So we have Leo on the descendant, or if we have that sign energy there, our partner may have, let's say, a Leo ascendant or a strong undertone of Leo or Leo subtone to their personality. So let's say our partner's moon is in Aries and their Mars is in Leo. There is a Leo subtone, as of course Mars rules that Aries moon. Another example is if our partner's sun is in Scorpio, for example, and their Mars is in Leo. So the same would apply as Mars co-rules Scorpio. So again, there is a strong Leo undertone or subtone to our partner's personality if, for example, our partners had those placements. So we're kind of seeing that there is this Leonian energy present. So it may not be immediately obvious that our partner has the qualities or the energies associated with the sign on our descendant, but if we probe deeper with a good enough astrological lens, we'll be able to see the deeper dynamics of what is actually going on. The sign position of the ruler of our descendant does also figure into the equation. So for example, again, if we have Leo on our descendant and our sun is in Scorpio, we may also find that our partners tend to have the qualities of the sign of our descendant ruler. So if it's Sun in Scorpio with a Leo descendant, we may find that we have partners who have kind of scorpionic qualities as well. Let's talk about planets on the descendant. So again, going back to client experiences and my personal observation. All right. So let's say that someone has Mercury closely conjunct their descendant. It's not surprising that their partner or their spouse is a Gemini or a Virgo sun. Of course, Mercury rules Gemini and Mercury rules Virgo. So that person would be interacting with people who have mercurial qualities, or that person would be interacting with mercurial qualities through their relationships. Yeah, so they access that planetary energy through the context or in the context of relating to other people through the descendant. Yeah, so let's say there is Saturn on the descendant. The person may find that they are interacting with Saturnian qualities in the realm of partnerships and relationships. So we may find with Saturn on our descendant that we may be attracted to older people, people who are older than us or more established than us. And we may find that in terms of the energy dynamics of a relationship or relationships in general, that we attract people who are, let's say, authoritarian or controlling in some sense, or that we in turn express authoritarian and controlling tendencies in relationships. It's always this kind of give and take with planets on the descendant. So a planet on the descendant on a whole will energize the descendant much more than if nothing was there, obviously. So if a planet is on the descendant, we will have a more powerful and immediate sense of our descendant when a planet is there. It becomes much more focalized in our awareness. So let's talk about a special case, the sun on the descendant. So if the ascendant is our approach to life and represents or signifies our way of being in the world, or kind of active modus operandi or MO. Check that out in the video I did on the ascendant. So there's all of that going on with the ascendant. It's this kind of our basic way of approaching the world. So while the ascendant is doing that, the sun, on the other hand, represents our basic, most fundamental wiring. The sun is who we are on an essential core level, while the ascendant is sort of an approach. So if the sun is conjunct or on the descendant, the sun is obviously opposite the ascendant. So this can indicate a kind of tension between one's approach to life and the psychological needs of the sun. And I found that this is particularly interesting with people who have Aries Libra on the ascendant descendant axis. So the Aries ascendant will reflect a more me-centered approach that might be out of sync with the sun in Libra on the descendant. So the sun in Libra, of course, on the descendant will display a strong need for relating with others. And with Aries on the ascendant, the qualities of Aries are not always so conducive to cooperating with other people. So we might have this kind of psychic split between the person's need to sort of approach their affairs and life with the energy of Aries, yeah, on the ascendant, and their need to just be Libra in a kind of solar sense. So there can be this kind of seesaw when the sun is conjunct the descendant and opposite the ascendant. So that definitely goes on, yeah. But then I've also seen a kind of curious yet harmonious blending of the energies of the ascendant and the sun over on the descendant. So Aries on the ascendant may give a sort of direct and straightforward approach to other people, not being afraid of being straight up, straightforward, and direct and forthright. And even as there is a consideration of other people's feelings and points of view with Sun in Libra on the descendant. So Sun in Libra on the descendant on the 7th house cusp is obviously archetypally associated with the Libra Venus matrix, and that would be obviously a strong Libra signature. So the Aries ascendant in the opposite sign could bring some sort of much needed balance to that Libran energy. Yeah, so Sun on the descendant opposite the ascendant, this configuration can represent a useful sort of balancing mechanism within the personality. So when the Sun is over on the descendant, opposite the ascendant, obviously, it can be, instead of it being a psychic split, it can also be a very useful balancing mechanism within the person's psychic structure and personality on a whole. So those are a few guidelines, a few tips to look at and approach the descendant. So we discussed the 3 Ds in terms of the descendant, a shorthand way of remembering what that could be. We looked at unpacking the sign energy on the descendant. We're looking to give those qualities in relationships, but also to get those qualities in relationships. What does it mean when we have a planet on the descendant? Looking at that, also looking at the ruler of the descendant, checking out what is the sign of the ruler of our descendant, how we may find that we are attracted to persons who have those qualities of that sign, and also the special case of having the Sun over on the descendant. So I hope that this was helpful. For sure, go and check out the video on the ascendant. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and until next time, talk soon. Bye.